Hi, I'm Rebecca from Radiant Art and welcome to my studio. Today is the first in a series of landscapes that will be using a variety of mixed media techniques. And today we're going to be starting with one that involves watercolor, drywall compound, and acrylic paint. I hope that you join me. So this is one of my favorite types of landscapes to do because we can show so much texture in the landscape and show a variety of landscapes. So wherever you live in North America or in the world, you can really show the uniqueness. So for example, the texture that we put in here heavily in this one is in the ocean and in some of the land mass there. Or you might be showing more of a grassland or a prairie landscape. This is an excellent way to show the texture of a mountain range or even one particular mountain that you might be showing or foothills. Another way to use this sort of variety of techniques is to compare different landscapes beside each other and show how the variety of landscapes change during different weather and different seasons. So for this first step, you're going to need a hardboard canvas. This one is an 8x10. You can use any size canvas you want. You can do something even smaller than this. I like this size because it is not hard to cover this area. If you have a lot bigger one, it's going to just take you longer and more materials to do that. So the reason why we're using a hardboard canvas that has really stiff backing on it is because we're going to be adding wet media as well as media that's quite heavy. And so if you're using something that's more of a watercolor paper or a mixed media paper, it is going to bow eventually and it's going to crinkle the paper. So we really need this type of canvas if possible. If you do not have this type of canvas with you and you're just trying to pick this up, you can use a heavier paper, but I would definitely mount it on something like on the back, like a cardboard or a foam core. You'll also be needing a pencil and eraser right now for our very first step. You can use any type of reference image for this type of project. You could use a picture that you've taken of a place that you've been to. You can use something that you've searched on the internet, or you can just print off a picture. Preferably your reference picture will be something that is more similar in size to your canvas because it's easier to get a sense of scale between one and the other, and we'll talk about scale a little bit later. If you have a really tiny image, it's going to be harder to see those details in it. And we're going to be looking at the shapes in all of the details as well. So please make sure that you have some type of reference image in front of you. It can be on paper, it could be on a phone or a tablet. laptop, whatever works for you right now. If you would like to use the image that I'm going to be using today, it will be available to you to download with the description for this video. So this image is really quite an easy one to use because the lines are going to be very simple. We don't have too many complicated parts of this landscape. So that's a nice one to start with if you've never done this type of thing before. So for the first step, you've got your reference image, your canvas, and your pencil and eraser. That's all we need right now. So one of the most important things with doing a landscape is to start with your horizon line. So if you take a look at your reference image, the horizon line is right here separating the sky from, in this case, the water. Or your horizon line could be separating sky from land. And it helps us to have a place to start so that we know where all of the other elements in this picture are going to sit according to where the horizon line is. So if you just imagine that your canvas, if it was a piece of paper that you were folding up and you could fold it in half, just imagine where that halfway line would be. It's probably about here. That's not where the horizon line is in this picture. So we want to go a little bit below the halfway mark on the canvas and draw a line. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. So my line was drawn quite lightly because I don't want it to show up when I start putting other paint on the canvas. I just want it to be a guide for me. The horizon line serves to help us understand perspective. So when we look at something off in the distance, we see that it might be smaller looking than something that's closer to us. And so that helps our eyes to understand that something is further away. So if we have three pieces like this that we're going to lay down on top of the horizon line, and then one crossing the horizon line, and one down here at the bottom, it helps us to see that something appears to be further away that is on the horizon line than the thing that is closer to us when we're drawing those things. Now what we do actually in art is we don't just put them on the horizon line. We also make that object smaller, or bigger, or much bigger if it's closer to us.